Good morning. It's about 8:20 on Wednesday, May 21st. I find myself at Lost Mountain Shelter. We had quite the storm last night. I have to tell you, it wasn't as brutal wind-wise as the one in Damascus last Saturday morning. However, the rain came down hard. It's probably the hardest rain I've been in since I've been on the trail. And it came down hard for like 20 minutes at a time. So you get 20 minutes of really hard rain, then it would let up a little bit but still be raining, and then another 20 minutes of really hard rain. The initial part of the storm had all the thunder and lightning that comes with these big storms, but later on through the night it was just the lightning and thunder went away. The winds were not there, thank goodness. If they were high up in the trees, and I was down low, thankfully. But just so much water coming down. There were puddles outside of my tent, and I was worried that at some point they'd go above my bathtub floor of my tent. That never happened, thank goodness. And the forest floor absorbed all of the water. So waking up this morning, it's actually hard pack, though the bottom of my tent is just filthy. And when you're out here, there's just no time to clean it. So I'm just gonna wrap it up as it is. I'll show you here momentarily. And then, yeah, when I get to town next, I'll try to see if I can get out, dry it out, and get that floor cleaned up. It's intermittent rain throughout the day. It's been sprinkling off and on here, nothing major, but I think it's supposed to clear up now for the next few days. I hope so, at least when we get to Grayson, Highlands, and the ponies tomorrow. Notable milestones today. Since I made such good distance yesterday with 16 miles to Lost Mountain Shelter, I should be able to go 13 miles today and be right at the 500-mile mark. So I'll get there tomorrow. Grayson Highlands starts up, I think, at the mile 500 mark, 502 mark, and then we just go from there. It's going to be a good day, I hope. Weathered the storm last night. I've met some people that I've met earlier on in this hike that are pretty kind. I just met a young guy named Rambo that seems pretty cool that I look forward to meeting on down the trail. My initial thought was I was going to stay in this shelter once I got here to avoid having to set up a tent. And there was plenty of space, but there were some people in the shelter I didn't care to be around. They were kind of partying with loud music and all, and I didn't want to be part of that. There was also a big college group up here doing some sort of learning activity. I don't know what college, but I'd say there were probably about 30 of us at this place. So it was pretty crowded, but still spread out. Let me kind of show you around. So back in the distance, that's the actual shelter, Lost Mountain Shelter. The water source is down that way through the trees. The privy is back here. This is kind of where I set up camp last night. I'm breaking it down. You have Big Shot and her husband, Cheers, from Great Britain. They have a friend that they're hiking with at the moment who's going to be heading home today back to Chicago. He goes by Ants in the Pants. He is set up back there. And there were a number of, again, college students set up back in the woods there. It looks like they've broken down their camp already, and there's some other hikers. So anyway, I think we all weathered the storm, got out of the worst of it, and it's going to be sprinkling off and on, but nothing major. At least it's warm out, so I'm ready. Let's get this going. Let me break this tent down. Let me show you how filthy it is. So that's what I'm dealing with this morning. I have to put the tent away that way. Thankfully, the upper part of it's not that dirty. Hopefully I can package it up and not get the upper part dirty. Anyway, let's get this done so we can get out of here. Good morning again. It's about 8:40 and I'm just getting started on the trail. I took a little longer getting up and around this morning. There was still light rain as I was waking up and I didn't want to be out in it. But you know, the chores just took a little longer to do this morning. I got to camp last night again, about 30 minutes before the big storm hit. Just enough time to set up my tent and get everything all set up before the heavy downpour. So I didn't have any dinner, and that's okay because I wasn't super hungry, but I was also very low on water. I had enough water to get me through the night in terms of drinking water. So one of my chores this morning was to fill up all my water and to have a really big meal. And I did have a good breakfast this morning, that protein powder and granola and some other items, some naan bread that I bought. And yeah, so now I'm back at it. My tent, the bottom of my tent is, as you see in the previous part of this video, is just really filthy. So hopefully at some point down the line when I get into town, I can dry it out and clean it out. You know, it might be sprinkling off and on throughout the next few days. So setting up camp tonight, I think I'm exposed. And so if it rains, you know, it's only gonna get dirty again. But there's a shelter at about 12.5 miles, I think. I might be wrong with my numbers. And then there's a big campsite that is at about 13 miles out. And it looks like it's a good campsite because it talks about how on weekends it gets super crowded with people from the local area. Now, this is also about a mile or two going into Grayson Highlands. So a lot of people will want to camp there to be able to go in and see the wild ponies. At this point, when it's been raining and all, you'll have thru hikers camp there, I'm sure. But otherwise, it won't be bad. I've met some people over the last week and a half or so, and I'm starting to kind of connect with them here. I see them over and over again, so we've had opportunity to just kind of talk and get to know one another. So I met a couple from Great Britain. The guy's name is Cheers. Wife's name is Big Shot. Super, super nice couple. Younger, I'd say early 30s maybe. And we're getting to know each other a little bit, so that's nice. They're good people. They have their friend that came out from Chicago to hike with them for a week. He's driving home. I think he's heading out today. At the next roadway, he's going to catch a shuttle back to Damascus and get his vehicle. He went with the name Ant in the Pants. Super nice guy. And anyway, yeah, making friends. I had a young guy, probably mid-20s, come up to me, talk to me about my tent. We have the same tent, ask me advice and all. He goes by Rambo, and he really seemed to have taken a liking to me in terms of our interaction and all. So making friends and maybe finding people to kind of hang out with later on down the line. We'll see. I'm actually enjoying being to myself at this point. No agendas or anything. And even though, it's been sprinkly and all at this point, it's nice weather for hiking. So today's not going to be quite as far as yesterday. If all works out, it should be about 13 miles. Hopefully I don't hit any big rains along the day. I'm so thankful I got to that spot yesterday for the weather though. So follow along and we'll see what today brings. All right, so I'm still hiking along the trail. Nothing unique about that, but this is a lot different than when I started back in Georgia with those pine trees. I want you to see, look at this. This is just crazy. I feel like I'm in they call this the Green Tunnel. And it's obvious why they call it the Green Tunnel. It's really dark down where I'm at. It's overcast at the moment, but I understand the sun's supposed to make an appearance later today. It's cool, slight humidity. I'm actually ready to take my wind shirt off and go down to t-shirt. I'm in shorts now. It's not cold at all. And at the moment, the trail's fairly flat. So I think the terrain today is going to be pretty mild. I mean, there might be some climbs, there always are. But making that 13 miles, I expect to be there by 3, getting a 9 o'clock start. But we'll see. Maybe faster, maybe slower. We'll see how it plays out. But it's just crazy how just look at that. That's awesome. 9:15, I just hit this roadway and came across Britt and Dizzy and his wife. They're thru hikers from last year, and they're doing trail magics. I got a sparkling water, which is awesome, and he's making me a sandwich, which is amazing. So, yes, this is the start of a great morning so far. It's about 9:40 a.m. Just crossed a little paved roadway. Came across Grit and Silver Lining and their German Shepherd. I've forgotten the German Shepherd's trail name. They all hiked the Appalachian Trail last year, German Shepherd included. And they were serving up trail magic. Got a sparkling water and a nice turkey sandwich with red bell pepper, spinach, and cucumbers. It was amazing. And so now I'm back at it. Super nice couple. And nice to talk to. He took thousands of photos last year and he's putting them into photo albums, and he has like photo album after photo album of flowers, and his photography is just awesome. Huge, beautiful flowers. So he enjoyed doing that last year, and that's how he documented his trip, which was pretty cool. But again, back in the forest and all the tall trees. It's beautiful out here, and I don't mind. I like this cool overcast morning. No humidity at the moment. I much prefer this over the hot, humid morning I got started with yesterday. So anyway, let's see where this takes us, right? Okay, it's about 10 o'clock. Looks like I'm gonna have a change of scenery from the forest, going through a little cow passage area, and it looks like I'm going up into a bald area, exposed, but there's nothing major going on right now weather-wise. So yeah, let's see where this takes us. The trail is actually going along the fence line there, but they have this little step. I guess this is to keep the cattle from leaving this area. We'll see if I actually see any cattle. But I'm on the backside and following the trail, and let's see if I get up there or not. It's pretty up there. Anyway, we'll see if I get up there, so I'll show it to you. Looks as though I may have found my new trail family. So there's some of these big guys right on the trail. We'll have to see how that goes down. Hopefully I can get around them. I might have to leave the trail to get around them so I don't get kicked in the butt. Dude here is just checking me out. He's like, what's up, man? What's up? So, see if I can get a selfie. Let's see. Common sense here, I think cattle are not aggressive, but I guess I'll find out. I'm gonna leave you alone, okay? So just leave me alone. Can I get a picture? Beautiful. You guys are nice looking. All right. So this is where I'm coming from. Probably shouldn't turn my back on these guys, but I'm gonna get a selfie. Well, after 12 p.m. got to the top of Buzzard Rock. That's where I'm heading. Up the trail there at some point. But this is my view. Really, really breezy up here, which is actually going to be beneficial here in a minute. I'm going to do like some of the others, and I'm going to try to dry out my tent by letting it flying in the breeze, or let it fly in the breeze. Trying to get this tent to dry out. It's still going to be grimy, but maybe it will be a dry and grimy tent instead of a wet and grimy tent. Use my poles to secure it. Pretty nice up here. Looks like sheep or something up there. Who knows? Maybe not. Winds died down briefly. All right, so I stayed up at Buzzard Rock entirely too long trying to get my stuff to dry out, my tent, and it didn't, but that's fine. I thought I was going up there, but in reality, the signpost here is taking me down this way. So I'm gonna have a more level and probably skirting this mountain instead of climbing over it. So that's cool, I like that. And I know there's another little bump up here. It's gonna be downhill for a while and then a few bumps. But I think I got over the major climb today, at least I hope I did. I haven't really looked at the profile map in a while. Pretty nice up here, breezy and cool. But you know, I think the rain's gone. Where the tent guy is up there, he's Dundee. That's where I was just at, drying out. So anyway, on my way. It is currently about 1:30. It's really breezy out. It's picking up breeze-wise. Don't know if we're gonna get rain or not. I should be so much further down the trail. But you know, an hour and a half ago I was wishing I had spaghetti. And the crazy thing is, as I was hiking here, I saw this sign. And I ended up having some trail magic. Trail magic right down there in that tent.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some down there already. So, hiking along, I saw a sign back there with an arrow pointing down to the parking lot that said trail magic. That tent right down there. And when I got down there, he was offering up home-cooked spaghetti. So, sometimes it's funny what you wish for, but I had some spaghetti and I asked for water, so he gave me a bottle of water and he offered me a beer. So I had a beer, spaghetti, and water. Disco's down there, and one of the young women from the college youth group that's out here hiking, she's hanging out with Disco, so she was there as well. And yeah, it was great. So now I'm back on the trail. I have another 6.5 to 7 miles to go to be at the camp I want to set up at. So 3.5 hours. So 1:30, it's gonna be at 5 o'clock. To be honest, I was supposed to be there at 4. Initially it was supposed to be 3. Just keeps getting pushed back because these trail magics, I had 2 trail magics today. Turkey sandwich earlier with sparkling water, and now a bowl of spaghetti with a beer and water. So as long as there's trail magic, it's hard to make progress, but it really is great because it fills you up. I eat a lot and I don't have to worry about making my own food. I was eating corn chips on the trail as I saw that trail magic. You can imagine spaghetti's a heck of a lot better than corn chips. So yeah, somebody camped right here. But making my way. I still want to make it to mile 500 today, even if it is 5 o'clock, as long as it's not raining. So here we go. All right, I'm on my downhill. I have another little climb before I get to that tent site. I'm about 6 miles out from the tent site. I'll be there around 5:15. This trail reminds me a lot of the trail when we were in the Smokies. A lot of it is covered in little streams of water running through it. you know, as a result of last night's big rain, obviously. And when we had that big storm in the Smokies, we had a similar situation where we were walking through water as well. Not all of the trail today, but some of it here lately. Now, I'm going a bit slower, not necessarily slower in hiking, just not getting as far as quickly in my day because I've had my second dose of trail magic. As I was hiking up the trail a while back, I saw a parking lot below with some campers down below, or some vans. One had a big tent. And I'm like, I wonder if that's trail magic. But I hadn't thought I'd stop there. And then walked about 100 feet up the trail, and there was a sign that said trail magic, pointing right down toward the tent. So I went down there, and Frisbee was down there with another hiker. I think I already mentioned this. And I had some trail magic. I had a bowl of spaghetti and a beer. Now, to be fair, I did have a bottled water as well. But, you know, I get the sense I already said that. So, again, I'm being redundant. I forgot what I've already said. But making my way, I just passed a hiker that goes by Nobody. Saw him at the shelter last night. He's moving down the hill as well. Other than him and Frisbee and one of the young girls from the college group, that's it on the trail that I've seen so far this morning or this afternoon at this point. So right now, I haven't seen anybody lately. And yeah, just kind of keep plugging along. But once I get down this little here, I have some climbing. It's not a significant climb, I don't think, compared to what I had this morning. So hopefully it goes well. It's about 2:53. I stopped at this little roadway that has a bathroom and garbage can over there. We're heading that direction on the trail. A little climb. I'm about 5.5 miles out from where I'm going to camp. It's going to be 5:30 at this point because I keep stopping. But this is the trifecta of trail magic today. My first one, I got a turkey sandwich with sparkling water. Second one, I had a bowl of spaghetti with a beer and bottled water. And now I just got this, another beer and Cracker Jacks. So not bad. All right, it's 3 o'clock. Today's been a day of rest breaks and trail magic. So 3 situations of trail magic. With that said, I'm going to get to my campsite a lot later than expected. But honestly, at this point, I don't care. Let's see, you have to be smarter than the gate. This one's a little different operation than what I'm used to. So I'm going to work on that, then I'll come back to the filming. All right, so this last gate did not have instructions on it. It was a bit different than the other gate I went through. So I had to find myself being smarter than the gate lock. And I think I got it. It only took me like 10 seconds this time. So I guess I'm getting smarter. But this is what it looks like as I head out. Another climb. And hopefully it's not as big a climb as what I experienced earlier. You know. Yeah, it's going to be later getting at that camp, but sunset is 8:30, so I should have plenty of time. I'm okay. I'm not in a hurry. Just stretch out my day and enjoy. So that's what I'll do. So we're not at Grayson Highlands yet. There are no wild ponies that you're seeing. What you're seeing is a horse. We're on federal property right now, and I just asked a woman up here, and she said she believes that this horse probably belongs to one of the park rangers, and they just kind of let it do free range out here. Although it is gated, so it can't run off, but it's beautiful. We'll see the ponies tomorrow. And yeah, I'll tell you more about the ponies when I get there tomorrow. I don't want to share too much of what I researched, but it's pretty back in here. And again, we're getting this climb going here soon. It's a slight climb now, not much, but it will pick up, I'm sure. It always does. It's coming up on 4 p.m. I've spent the last half mile walking through this blackberry bush, I think. One type of berry. The berries aren't obviously ready yet, but this is what the trail looks like. It's pretty much just grown together with just a very little space to walk. And this is all some sort of wild berry, either a blackberry, raspberry, I don't know. But when these things bloom, man, there's gonna be thousands upon thousands of berries. Pretty cool for the people behind me, but also for the bears. Ha! But pretty cool. It's 5:30. I just passed Thomas Knob's shelter. I could have stayed there. There's a lot of tent sites there. out here in the woods, and I still can. There's a group of about 40 freshmen and sophomore kids from a local high school, or maybe not a local high school, but a high school that are on some sort of end of the year expedition trip, which is pretty cool. They're not staying at the hostel. They're not staying at the shelter, excuse me. They're actually staying out in the woods in tents with their teachers and staff. And then there were 3 through hikers at the shelter. But I had already set my sights on camping out here. It's called Rhododendron Gap, and that's it's a tent site, and so I'm gonna camp there. There's a bare box right there, and that's a beautiful campsite. I could theoretically set up there, and maybe I will, I don't know. I'll go up a mile, it's only a mile, see what it has to offer. It just cuts down on distance, and I just figured there'd be people out there. But the wind is howling, so that's gonna be a factor in setting up my tent. Maybe I'll have to go back and go to the woods to be sheltered from the wind. But I honestly think I can probably make it work. Rhododendron Gap, tent area, mile out. And if I don't like it, turn around and go back a mile, not a big deal. But look at that view, that's beautiful. So this sets me up for tomorrow in Grayson, Highlands, where the ponies are. I think I'm about a mile or 2 from that, maybe 2 miles from that, from where I camp. So they say this is a popular camping site out here that I'm going to, usually during the weekends in the summer. Obviously it's not a weekend and it's not summer. So yeah, we'll see if there's anybody else besides me, especially with the wind howling. Currently 6:30. I'm set up in the woods behind me. There's a bunch of tents set up back that way, and that's where I'm set up. We're actually in Grayson Highlands, the ponies. You'll see them here in a minute, the wild ponies. So it looks like Big Shot and Cheers are going to be camping out on the grass here, right in and amongst the ponies. That's pretty cool. There's a bear out there. That's where I'll put my food. You guys are going for the wind, huh? That's a pretty cool spot though, right? With the ponies.
So windy.
Yeah.
Great way to dry your tent.
You know, that is a smart idea. I should.
So it didn't blow away.
Oh man, my tent is filthy. Hi there, guys. So these are the wild ponies of Grayson Highlands. Pretty cool. Good evening. It's currently 8:30 p.m. I find myself at the southern entrance to the Grayson Highlands National Park. Could be State Park, I don't remember which. At any rate, this is where the wild ponies are, and I didn't realize I'd be seeing them today. I thought it would be a tomorrow thing, and I'm sure I'll see more of them tomorrow. But they have camping at the southern entrance, and so there's about 20 tents out here, through hikers, pass-through hikers, and just people, I guess. And so as you go down to refill your water, there are ponies down in that area, and I videoed it as well as took some photographs. My cell service is very poor in this area, so I tried to get some pictures out. I may or may not have on Facebook and Instagram. I don't know. Tried to send some pictures to the coffee group, but I don't know if those went through. So when I get cell service again, I'll try it again. It was a long day today, 13.4 miles total. Not long in distance compared to yesterday, but I was up and down last night, just worried about the weather, worried about flooding in my tent. It never happened, thank goodness. So I think I was a little tired to begin with. But I stopped 3 times for 3 different trail magics, and that really slowed me down. I should have been here about 3:30 and ended up getting here at 5:30. And to answer some questions, I did eat all the trail magic that was given to me, but I also had a good dinner tonight. I had spaghetti for dinner as well, one of my mountain house meals. So I've been eating a lot out here. I need to eat more, I realize that. So I have 2 more days on the trail here, and then a morning before I get to Marion, Virginia. I'm going to take a shuttle down and try to get a hotel room to myself. They do have a hostel there, but I just need a day to myself without a bunch of hikers snoring, smoking, playing loud music. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm going to look into that and see what's available. But all is well. It was a good day overall. You know, it was nice and overcast this morning and cool, but not rainy. It warmed up nicely. Right up here in Grayson Highlands, it's super, super windy. So you can see I'm wearing all of my warm clothes right now because it's actually pretty cold out. So anyway, I'm doing well. and I'm looking forward to getting at it tomorrow, seeing some more of the wild ponies. And yes, they are wild. So some history regarding these wild ponies. Back in 1978, the state sponsored two ranchers to bring some ponies up here to populate this area, to graze the area, and they did, and those ponies, you know, reproduced, and so their ancestors, I guess, or maybe some of those are still alive, I don't know. Now, one of the shuttle drivers a few days back insists that some of the ponies up here were left over from the 1930s, from the Great Depression, that some families just left their ponies up here. Now, I don't know how true that part is, but I did research the other one, saying in 1978, two ranchers released some ponies up here with state guidance, I guess. And so maybe there are some original ponies up here that are not wild, but then there are some ponies that have been born up here that are wild. They're very docile. They'll come right up to you. They didn't come up to me, but they came awfully close. And yeah, so I'm excited about that. Anyway, it's been a good day, and I appreciate all of your following along, and I'll show you some more tomorrow. So thank you very much. Sunny D out.